Hello and welcome to the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Logan. How are you today, Logan?
It's been a long time coming, Jordan. It's been a couple minutes since we've been on the podcast. So welcome back, everybody that's listening or watching. It's good to see, or
Been a
at
few
least
weeks.
it's
It's been
good
a
to
few
see you,
weeks.
Jordan.
Yeah, it's been a few
Yeah.
weeks at least since you've been on here.
Yep.
I did the
Yeah,
episode
you
right
did
before we
one.
left, right
Yep.
before I left for vacation, and right before you left to go to a wedding. And congrats to the happy couple if they're still
Yeah.
together at this point.
I hope
But
so.
then
I haven't updated on that. We might have. No, I'm kidding.
Could you imagine like a week later, like, I think we're done.
Jordan, do I have a story for you? No, I'm kidding. But
Right after I do.
right.
But anyway, so I did the Seattle Sounders Leagues Cup champion video, and Logan, that's one of the highest YouTube videos we've ever had.
You
Views,
don't need me
likes,
anymore.
comments, apparently not. Like,
Yeah.
uh, that was great. Some guy said I really know my stuff. So
I don't know where these people are normally.
it's all
But
the
no,
Seattle fans.
yeah. But no, that was cool. I obviously I still have. I'm logged into YouTube Studio for Stateside, so I'll still pull up like the views and stuff like that. And I was like, dang man, Jordan is he's going solo. He's going without me. Like this is where he fires me today on this podcast. So
And since we've recorded, somebody has actually been fired. Caleb Porter gone.
long
This
gone.
was a yeah. This has been a long time coming, right? We kind of thought going into like I thought we last year we were like, okay, maybe this is time, and then he says in the press conference going into the season like, oh, I finally got my team together. This is the people I want, and then yikes. Just 8 of their regular 32 season games at Gillette Stadium under Porter's 2 years, they have won. Just 8 of his 32 home games in those 2 seasons had they won. This year, they had only won 2 games, 2 out of 15 home games since May. So look, this on top of, the controversial comments about the 2021 record-breaking team that he made that upset the Revs fans. Last year, we talked about what our friends, on that do the Revolution podcast, and we're friends with, we follow and we interact with a bunch of Revolution accounts. And there was that whole controversy where they're asking questions about why certain players are not playing, and he just got real like I know better than you. That's a dumb question type of mentality that he had. And I don't think I saw a Revs fan, Logan, in his, let's say, in 1.5 out of the 2 years that was a fan of Caleb Porter. I think it was probably a fine hiring to start off. I think most people were probably like, oh, he won MLS Cup in 2015. He won MLS Cup in 2020. He's a proven coach. He was a coach at Akron. Like, this is great. But I think it quickly soured on the fan base. Like, I don't know any Revs fan, and maybe you've seen it, but that was like, man, Porter, my guy. Like, I feel like they all were Porter out.
Yeah, and it started that way too. Like I remember his introduction press conference. Like I don't know. It seemed whenever they talked to him, it kind of seemed like you said that he's better than everybody else. Um, he is proven in this league, but I mean, you can't. It 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 can humble you so quickly, and this is not just, I guess, the case for MLS. Like it's a real thing. Like coaches get humbled pretty quickly when they think that they're above everything else. I mean, you can look at Bill Belichick, who's with UNC now. None of the NFL teams really wanted to touch that. I mean, you've got Pep, who was riding high with City, and now they can't put together a championship team anymore. I mean, it just seems that you can. Karma is very fickle, Jordan, and she knows what she's doing. And when you start to treat people like this, or you think that you're good enough, or the real world has a way of humbling you, I think. And Caleb was Caleb's going to be looking for a new job. I imagine that he'll be hired pretty quickly next off season. I'm assuming it'll be an MLS. I'm assuming it'll be like the coach carousel that soccer seems so prone to be into for some reason. But this is a disaster stint. 2 seasons, 17 wins, 35 losses, 12 draws. Hired in December of 2023. So uh, I like Jordan. I always like these exit quotes. It's always the same stuff. Like I love when people are like, "Well, man, the PR team's going to have a lot to do." I'm like, they've got these things so like cookie cutter. Like we really thank whoever for energy, effort, dedication. It's just it's time to move on. And we wish him the best going forward. It's never, it's always the same stuff, but it seems, Jordan, that
you never get the truth. You never get the
No.
truth there of like, this guy sucked. We had to move on.
He's an ass.
We don't wish him well because he was a jerk to us. Or like, you never get the true story at all in these.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like, I would never read an exit interview and go, well, I don't want to work for them. They're mean. Like I've always been like, if they were a jerk, tell us. Like
Right.
this, the visions didn't align. There are some organizations that can get away with that. It's usually the bigger organizations that can get away with some of the, well, we just didn't align. But I'm sure something will come out eventually that'll be damning for Caleb. But
I want the whole book. I want the book about the Revs because, man,
yeah,
right before this, they had Arena.
that's true.
Like that was a good few years, but
Yeah.
then fired, unceremoniously due to whatever was said. We still don't know.
We just need a Robert Kraft book at this point.
Yeah.
Not that anybody would ever want to hear what he had to say, but no.
But then, yeah, I mean, there'd be a lot of juicy stories.
Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, like
the massage, like all that stuff would be in that book. So I put on all of the social media accounts, like not shocked, but kind of shocked that they just didn't ride out the few games left. But he has been a disaster at New England. Where does Porter go now? I feel this job has severely hurt his image around the league. We got a couple responses, mostly on Blue Sky here. The Ryland on Blue Sky says USL League One. That's where he's going to go. And over there on Blue Sky said, bet he goes back to the college game. I do fear that is not the case. Logan, I do think you're right. It's probably going to be the coaching carousel. I already saw SKC fans being like, we're asking you right now, SKC, do not hire this man. And I'm like, you know what? That seems like an SKC move, in all honesty.
I was going to say, like, proven coach, needs some experience. The
disappointing
just chapter
couple
after
seasons.
Vermees,
just like Vermees. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that'll be a good one. I'm assuming that one of the Texas teams will have an opening. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It always seems like they're up for hiring the coaching carousel, like between Houston and Dallas. Like they love to.
We shall see. We shall see. I mean, right now, I think 2 of the Texas teams are in the playoff
Austin, yeah,
zone, right? We had Austin and Dallas are in the
Houston's-
playoffs. Houston's 1 point off.
Yeah, Houston's close.
Right?
Yeah.
San Jose, disappointingly, with Bruce Arena. It's his first year, though. I think we bought the hype a little too much, though. But if you're looking at teams that need a manager, you're looking at like St. Louis, SKC. Yikes. Like, I don't know if Porter makes any of these teams better at the bottom here. He took one of the best New England teams and made them really bad. Okay, so, like, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Denny Bouanga is now the leading goal scorer of LAFC. They've been surging up the table with the addition of Son. I saw stat. I don't know where it is now.
You talking about the 14 of 14?
What was the 14 of 14? Go ahead, tell me.
Sun and Bwanga, the last 14 goals have been between those two. It's crazy. Like, and his son had a hat trick and Bwanga had a hat trick in that stretch. Yeah. And they are the only two that have scored between the last 4 games. And they've scored 14 in the last 4. So that's insane. Jordan, we always seem to be talking about LAFC in this manner. Like towards the end of the season, well, here comes LAFC. Here they come. It's like not even shocking at this point anymore.
No, I mean they're in 4th place in the West. They still have 2 games in hand. They're only 7 points off of San Diego FC right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they can theoretically get 1 point behind if they win their next 2 games. They have
crazy.
a plus 20 goal differential. Only 7 losses on the season. Like we said, we always talk about this. LAFC and Seattle, they can start slow, but those two are always in it until the end.
And collect trophies on the way.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
pick up random trophies on the way and take them.
Like what was your thought? You know, Seattle, you didn't get to share this, but Seattle won Leagues Cup. They beat Miami 3-0. They had Miami really showed their true colors with the fight at the end. But like, you know, this is the first MLS team to have won every single trophy they could win, except for like Club World Cup, which is, you know, rare. But like every trophy that typically plays every year, they've won it.
Yeah. Jordan, they're a good team. They've got good players. I mean, Jordan Morris is back healthy. So he's going to start finding his footing. And, you know, he didn't score this weekend, but I know he's played in some games and is starting to ramp up. But when you've got Rusnak, Musovski, like those are just proven veteran players. And I mean, they've got guys that just can fill in different places. I just feel like they're like the big brother that shows up and says, okay, well, it's time for little brother to stop. They feel them and LAFC for some reason. I've always felt like they're the spoilers. They're always coming in to remind you why they're historic and why Schmetzer, you know, we don't talk about it a ton, but I think there is a conversation to be had that Brian Schmetzer is arguably one of the best MLS coaches. If he continues to do what he does, he's just, I don't know, like the talent that Miami had, it didn't even make it look like they had talent. I mean, Seattle just dismantles them, and I think it does. It proves that you can have some of the best talent still in this league, but you can come up short against people that have been here, done that.
Yeah, and they are soaring 4th and 5th place for LAFC in Seattle after, you know, we've been talking about the top 3 for so long, San Diego, Vancouver, and Minnesota. Those are still holding ground. San Diego only 3 points off of a supporter shield right now. They're 3 points behind Philly, 1 point behind Cincinnati, who's 2 points behind the Union. So, I mean, when you look at the supporter shield race and just what is going on there, we have 3 games left for most of these teams. Some of the teams have a little bit more, like Vancouver, Miami, right? NYCFC and Orlando have a game in hand. But we've talked about before that this is the best supporter shield race, and you know what? It's continued, right? This has not dropped off at all. All of these teams have started to drop points when other teams are getting points, and it's just led to our current supporter shield standings of Philly with 60 with 3 games to go, Cincinnati with 58, San Diego with 57, Vancouver with 55, but 2 games in hand, so they can theoretically get to what is that, 6.61, and that would actually be on pace for more than what the Union have right now. It helps that they just kicked the Union's ass a couple weeks ago as well. That gave them that when you go head to head like that, there's opportunities to where it's not a 3-point game, it's a 6-point swing, type of thing. Minnesota's in 5th for the Supporter Shield at 54 points. And then even then, Charlotte, who has just come up after they were so hot at the beginning of the season that they were top of the East at some point.
Mhm.
They fell. They're back up there. They're in 6th overall for the Supporter Shield, only 1 point behind Minnesota. Even NYCFC, who we've largely ignored this season, is at 53 points. Miami is at 52 with 3 games in hand. Like, Orlando's at 51. I mean, with 3 games left, I feel like you're mostly going to start cutting it off at probably that top 5, Philly, Cincy, San Diego, Vancouver, Minnesota. But some of these teams are still alive in that quest for a Supporter Shield.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was listening to the wrap up before we jumped on, and they said this is easily the best Supporter Shield race that the MLS has ever had. And I was like, you know what? There are cases for 5 of these teams. I think 5 to 6, maybe, like that they could win Supporter Shield. And Jordan, we're going into match day 32. And points, like 1 or 2 points separate some of these teams, and they play each other. Like it's gonna get real interesting. And then you've got teams that are sitting in the shadows who have games in hand. Who Jordan, I mean, if Miami wins their games in hand, if they win 3 straight wins without a loss, that would be 61 points. They would be atop the Union right now, in first in the Supporter Shield. I don't know if that happens, but the fact that we're sitting here on what's today's date? September 23rd, right? And
Yeah.
Sorry if you've been raptured and you don't understand. But no, but in all honesty, it's like what, like
we got less than a
team,
month.
Right. Which team, Jordan, right now, if you picked, which team do you feel like is going to end up on top? Because there are 8 teams that are within distance that could actually pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, look, I might go homer here and say Philadelphia. They were very impressive until this last week or two. So that's my little worry there. But they did rebound. They beat the Revs when they should have beat the Revs, and they have rebounded. I'll tell you who I don't really believe in as much, and it's the teams that have single-digit goal differential. So, I know Cincy is technically up there with points, and really all it takes is a Cincy win and a Philly loss for Cincy to be above them, but they have a +8 goal differential compared to Philly's +17.
Yeah.
Charlotte has a +9, right? I don't know if I believe in those two as much. If it's not going to be Philly, I wouldn't be shocked if it is somebody like a Vancouver who has, now that they brought in Thomas Mueller and he is starting to play and he's scoring goals and it seems like the team is getting a boost with him being here. This team that was in charge of the Supporter Shield for so long of the season can now reclaim it at the end and win it all. Like I said, they would be 1 point above Philly, just like you said Miami would be, with their 2 games in hand. And those games are happening very soon. Tomorrow, Miami will be playing NYCFC and Vancouver will be playing Portland. So that'll be one of the games in hand, but then they'll have another game in hand because Saturday, all the teams are playing. So then, the next time Vancouver would get a catch-up game, looks like it is October is when they do their catch-up game. It's during the, I guess, October window, where we'll get a few games on Saturday and Sunday of that week, the week before Decision Day. So we'll kind of get a good hint of where Vancouver is going tomorrow. Look, I mean, I think with Vancouver and Portland, that is Portland is a team I would feel good about them beating. Vancouver, here's your here's the thing, have scored 17 goals in their last 5 matches, okay?
Hmm.
They have the most clean sheets in MLS with 13, and they've won the previous 2 matches against Portland. All of that leads me to think that they're going to beat Portland tomorrow. Portland have only scored 5 in their last 5. Like, they're head to head, like I said earlier this season. I guess they've only played once so far this season, and it was a 4-1 win by Vancouver on, like, what was that, the first week? February 23rd? It was like
Yeah.
week 1. And then Vancouver smashed them on decision day last year, looks like 5-0. So the last time Portland has won was June of 2024. They won 2-0. And that was a home game for them. This game is going to be a home game for Vancouver. So I don't know. I just feel like Vancouver is going to easily get those points, but it is MLS. Anything can happen. But if they do, let's say they do get those points, Vancouver would be at 58 points, just like Cincy, but they would have a game in hand to Philly, Cincy, and San Diego. They would actually leapfrog San Diego for the lead in the West as well. So main thing is, like we've said before, for MLS as a whole, nothing's ever out. This was a team that was killing it all season long, dipped after the Champions League, right? After they lost that Champions League final, they dip a bit. Really, we were like, man, what's going on with Vancouver? But ever since the transfer window, and they brought in Thomas Mueller, and it just seems like the team has been reinvigorated. They're scoring tons of goals. They're playing. It looks like they're having fun. If I'm not going to pick my own team of Philly, I have to lean Vancouver here. Because I'll just say, even though Miami has the same sort of stuff going on,
Hmm.
the vibes are kind of more off in Miami, I would say, because
Yeah.
of, just seeing how they handled the Seattle game
Yeah.
wasn't great. Not a great look.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. Like, if I had to pick today, I would pick the Union. The Union still, even though Vancouver, if winning those 2 games in hand, would have the 1 point advantage over Philly, I still feel like being up points still, even if you've got games in like that's more pressure. That's more things have to go right. Like, Vancouver has 5 games they have to play. Philly only has 3. If Philly wins out, I mean, it becomes extremely tough for Vancouver because then Vancouver would have to win out to be a point ahead of them. Um, I just, yeah, like whenever it gets this late in the season, I know a lot of people like to go, well, they got 2 games in hand. That's tough because, like, it's different if it's 2 games in hand and it's, May. It just, that there's not pressure there. There's not well, we've got to win these. We've got to do this. I feel like the Union, and they've got DC that they have to play next, who they should beat DC at DC. Then they've got 2 pretty tough games in NYCFC and Charlotte. So those are 2 tough games to end it. Vancouver's schedule's, I think, lighter than Philly's, but they still have to play some pretty good teams. They play Portland, and then they go to Seattle, play San Jose, then have to travel all the way out to Orlando, and then back home against Dallas. Like, there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong there. Like, Seattle, good team, tough to win in Lumen. Playing against Portland, Portland's kind of one of those teams that is hot and cold. Like, you could get really good Portland or you get really bad Portland. San Jose, I think they're cooked. Orlando's going to want to win those games because they're going to want home field. So that's going to be a tough game. And then that last game's kind of one of those setup games where you're like, oh, we could beat Dallas. But, that's a lot of things that have to go right for Vancouver to catch up to Philly, even with those games in hand. So I do. I've got more confidence in Philadelphia. I think Philly needs to draw or lose for one of these teams to have a chance. Like, I really do feel like, and I would almost say they probably have to lose. Like, coming down the stretch, I feel like they would have to lose a game for some of these other teams to be able to catch them.
I just want to shout out the schedule makers as well here, because you just mentioned it. Vancouver has to play Portland and Seattle.
Yeah.
That is the Cascadia
Yeah.
rivalry, and they're going to be really important games because of how good Vancouver is this year and how good Seattle is. And then Portland is kind of this, I would say, wild card-esque team where,
Yeah.
they end up in 7th place right now. They're probably going to finish in that 5 to 6 range, which is typical for them right now, I would say, right? Not really a surprise, I would say, but not really a disappointment either. Like, just get in. Hopefully, you make a run there. But again, they have a -2 goal differential, so I'm kind of down on Portland right now. But anyway, so that is the key thing here. Is I think Vancouver's got it. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about the teams that have clinched. There are teams that have clinched playoff spots in both West and Eastern conferences since we've last recorded. San Diego, I believe, was the first team to have clinched all season. Vancouver has clinched. Minnesota has clinched. LAFC has clinched. Over in the East, we have Philly has clinched. Cincy has clinched. Charlotte has clinched. And so has NYCFC. So that leaves teams like Miami, Orlando, Nashville, Columbus, and Chicago, and Red Bull, who have not clinched. But in the East, there's a lot more eliminated teams: New England, Toronto, Atlanta, DC, and Montreal. So I don't know what it'll take. I'm not a mathematician, but really it comes down to Red Bull and Chicago battling it out for that last playoff play-in spot. Red Bull and Chicago, they're 2 points separated. Columbus has 50 points while Chicago has 45 and Red Bull has 43. So I feel like I'm almost going to say Columbus upward are clinched unless if a disaster happens in these last 3 games. And one of those last playoff spots, that last playoff spot in the East, is going to go to either Chicago or Red Bull. I didn't realize how much has been eliminated in the East, where we really only have one team, one extra team battling it out. We almost have every playoff team sealed at this point in the East. Just if this is musical chairs, there's one less chair for the people that are there. That's how little teams are playing for something right now in the East. But because the East has also been very good at the top, you get a lot of teams battling it out for the supporter shield at the top, which is something we're not accustomed to, Logan, because usually these supporter shield battles are done a month in,
right?
A month left to go. Like,
yeah,
we're usually, or it's like 2 teams. Like, we have so many teams that are statistically still in that.
Yeah.
Where usually we're just saying, like, okay, that team is winning the East and the rest are playing for position. That's not really the case this season. But yeah, so East almost completely booked in their playoff spots.
Yep. And I again, like you said, it's fascinating that we will very well go into a decision day not knowing who the supporter shield winner is a lot of fun. I think.
Is that what you want? I feel like that's what people should want, right? Like,
that's what
supporters,
I want.
like decision day deciding the supporter shield winner.
Even Philly fans can still get that and not screw this up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not have screwed it up. Sorry. Philly fans, if you win 3 out, that's 69 points. But if Vancouver wins out, they get 70. So, like, even if we're sitting here going, like Jordan's sitting here as a Union fan going, that would be cool to have decision day decide. Obviously, some fans would probably want it wrapped up. But for Philly fans, it doesn't mean the end of the world if you go into decision day and you haven't won the supporter shield. It just means Vancouver did exactly what they were supposed to do. Miami did
you're
exactly
watching
what
the
they were supposed to
Vancouver
do.
game
Yes.
after, and you're like, because remember, they always do East for the first
Right.
half, West for the second half,
Yeah.
where you're watching the game after, like, oh, we need Vancouver to lose this game or draw this game so we can lift the shield.
Right.
What do you think people do in that case? I would assume the diehards are sticking around and waiting at the stadium if there's going to be a trophy lift or something.
I would think, yes. I would think the Union, let's just say it's the Union. If Vancouver or Miami are still playing, well, Miami wouldn't be playing. Well, they could be depending on stoppage time. But yes, like if Philly and Vancouver are the teams, right? And Vancouver plays at 4 or whatever they play at. I think it's usually 4. But like I could totally see the Union front office being like, nope, keeping concessions open. Feel free to hang out.
Put the game on
We
the
win
TV,
it. Yeah.
like the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think baseball stadiums have done it. I know basketball definitely has done it because I know that the Pacers were kind of hanging out, waiting for a couple of results. So they let their fans stay. But like, it happens. Like, I think that yeah, definitely. But that'd be cool. I mean, the decision day supporter shield win is not something that probably is going to happen too often. But I think
Yeah.
it's going to be something that and imagine, Jordan, if it's
And it
like
feels like
Philly and
too.
Miami, like going head to head, same time, and you're watching scoreboard
Oh
watching,
yeah.
like, oh my
You put it on
gosh.
MLS 360 and
Yeah.
you're, watching both. But I think it would be really cool if it was Vancouver and Philly because I don't know when we typically have a supporter shield battle be inter conference. Like
Hmm.
usually
It's
it
yeah,
feels
same
like
conference.
it's the same conference battling it out, especially on like a decision day one or whatever. It's never usually like well, one, they wouldn't even be able to have the shield on hand because it's not
Yeah,
clear.
I didn't even think of that.
Because again, we have not had something like this for a while. Every single supporter shield in like recent times
Do
has
they
been
do they make two shields? Like, is that something we find out that they actually have two shields on hand in case one wins?
they
Like,
don't.
that's crazy.
What the union did because they couldn't get the shield when they lifted it. They put it on. They put a decal sticker of it on a Captain America shield,
Oh,
and that's when all those. If you see them lifting it from 2020 when we won it, it
yeah.
is the Captain America shield with the supporter shield
I
decal
like
on it.
that. That's actually funny.
So they
I
could
mean, you
have
would
that.
get
They
all the
could have
merch,
that.
but
They
yeah,
might have that and like bust
yeah.
it out and
That's
use that or something. But
or you could be risky. You could gamble on who the league could be like, all right, send it to Philadelphia because I think they're gonna win it.
yeah, I
But the
would
last two
assume it would
games,
go to. Yeah, I would assume it goes to the team that has the
the advantage.
advantage going into the final day. So
Yeah,
it I would assume if it is Vancouver and Philly, it would probably be in Vancouver if they're playing the later game and they know now what they need to win or
yeah,
something. Like I don't know. Like I I feel like that's probably how it would go, but
yeah.
I don't know.
And
We're
Jordan,
dreaming for it. We're dreaming about
right?
it.
But before the last CBA, the trophy was flying commercial, and you could have got it switched. You could have Jordan, you and I could have ended up with the supporter shield by accident if we had the same bag that it was in.
Well,
Like,
actually, well, no,
oh
the
my
supporter
gosh,
shield is actually handled all by the supporters. So they I don't
well,
know how
that's
they
not
get it there,
fun. That is,
but the league doesn't
yeah.
do it.
Well, MLS Cup could have ended up in our house.
Yes, yeah,
That's a fancy, like that's a that's the number one trophy for me. The way it looks
yeah. It looks
for
great.
me, like World Series is pretty cool, but
Mm.
I don't know. MLS Cup today, I was looking at the trophy because I was putting on the thumbnail, and I was like, I like that trophy a lot. Like I like the gold arch like on it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it looks great. I would say, hmm, favorite sports trophy.
World Series is pretty cool though.
World Series is cool, but that wouldn't work for soccer. But yeah,
Yeah,
it would.
yeah,
I'm
no,
not. I would say the NBA Finals one is pretty cool.
yeah,
I would say maybe the Lombardi is the worst out of the major 4 or 5 sports.
yeah. It's boring.
It's
I,
sleek. It's just kind of like, yeah,
yeah,
it's a football on a pillar.
Stanley Cup looks like you could pick it up at your local Walmart.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just
it's
a really
old. It's
big,
older than
yeah,
Walmart.
right.
They
World
pass that
Cups is
around.
cool. World Cups is like very, it's kind of antique looking, like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
the big gold thing. I like it.
yeah. I would say like the MLS Cup one kind of looks like a modern Premier League trophy.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I
Like
was
they
like, what does Premier
modernized
look
it
like?
or
And I was like,
something.
oh, it does kind of look like MLS Cup. Yeah,
Not how MLS Cup originally looked. If you look back at the early years,
I'm gonna look.
look it up. It's like a flying soccer ball. Think like imagine the Pixar lamp had a baby with a soccer ball. I feel like that's what you get.
Oh, weird. Oh, what the heck? Looks like a shooting star.
Yes, yeah.
That's ugly. Oh my gosh.
I forget when they changed it, but it's much better now.
Yeah. Nah, I do. I really like the modern one.
Well, you know what else has happened this past week or so since we've recorded? Logan, I don't know if this will be a surprise to you, but DC United is restarting again.
Oh man, they don't usually hit restart, Jordan. Not until December.
Yeah, a little earlier this year.
It is.
They fired their GM. They've hired Dr. Urkit Sogut as their new managing director of soccer operations on whatever day that was announced. It says Friday, but like I don't know which Friday at this point because it's been weeks since we recorded. But
Is he like a medical doctor? Or like
I mean, look,
the guy that'll
maybe
tell you
because
that
they're getting all forced out of DC as it is. So maybe he's
I was
like,
gonna
I'll go into
say,
the
are they
soccer world.
right? Are they are they bored? Are they like, too much Tylenol? Like what's happening? So
Oh boy, I don't know what type of doctor he is. I don't know if it says. It just says doctor. He's German born. He was a sports agent and lawyer. Okay, so maybe a doctor is in lawyer. I don't know.
dang, that's pretty impressive.
He used to represent German superstar Mesut Ozil
Ooh, I like
as an
Mesut.
agent. He apparently helped identify and recruit the current head coach for DC, Renee Weiler. So is that an indictment on him? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. But they'll be aligned, I guess, which is what they say is critical going forward. So
That's funny to me, just because of their past. Which is really weird for you because you've gotten to see what DC was like when they weren't a
yeah,
disaster.
when they were actually good.
But ever since I've known them, Jordan, it's been one disaster after the next, and they have had. You're not joking when you say like they're starting over. Like they have totally different rosters season by season. Like it's insane how different their rosters have looked.
I'm gonna I'm gonna see if I can find like an actual count because it feels like this happens every year. So I'm gonna go look, I guess, if I can find
How many
news about
players?
like their executives and their
Oh,
coaches. So no coach firing right now, but the executive, um, I guess, has changed again. Since we've done this podcast, we've had, I think Ben Olsen had just finished when I
yeah.
started, and then Losada took over, Wayne Rooney took over, Troy
Hmm.
Lascelles took over. Now, of course, they have another head coach. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Their GM Ali McKay is who was just fired. Wikipedia still has them listed, so they're a little behind the times, I guess. So whoever wants to edit the DC United Wikipedia, please go do that so that's updated. Um, let's see. I'm just trying to see when I can the best way to find out the last time that they've Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they had Kevin Flanagan as a interim for like 6 days, and then
Hmm.
Renee Weiler took over. Um, I mean, it is crazy. This list actually has all of the interims too, so this is interesting. Because Ben Olsen lasted for 10 years. Since then, they've had one, two, three, four, five, six coaches that have managed a game at least. That's including interims. Um, Bruce Arena was there for 2 years. Um, back when they were good. So, and he had just a great win percentage, the best win percentage except for interim coaches. He had a 56 percent game percentage, win percentage. Bruce Arena did. Man, where can I find list of DC United GM history? Is that a thing? Can somebody show me that, please?
Want me to call him?
Yeah. Can we get DC on the line, Logan? See if you can get that.
Hold on. Let me call somebody. Can you imagine if we just picked up the phone and called? Hey,
give me a rundown of your.
If we could definitely email the people, the press people, but it would not respond at 6:45.
No, yeah, they wouldn't respond while we're on the air. Maybe this is something I'll take a deep dive on after the show or something, and get it ready for next week, because it just feels like if it's not the GM, it's the manager, and if it's not
somebody's the fall guy.
Yeah,
it's never ownership. By the way, that's another thing, Jordan. I think sports teams need and are required to have. I think that's a thing, like a board of directors that could oust an owner. Like I feel like that should be a thing. And I get there's other issues with that, but it just seems like there are so many sports team owners that don't take the responsibilities that they sign up for to own a sports franchise. And that I know the commissioners serve at the pleasure of the sports owners, but I feel like it should be the other way around, where there is a group that can decide, hey, you should be gone. What happened?
I think I know what you mean, but the way you said that the commissioner serves at the pleasure.
Yeah, serves at the pleasure of. That's what they say.
Serves at the behest.
Yes,
right. They work for them. Yeah.
Yes, because it's. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many reckless owners that don't take their team seriously, and that it's just a cash cow for some of them.
Yeah. So here you go. Here's a real indictment on this. Logan, since we've been podcasting, they have not made the playoffs. Okay. They're one of MLS's original 10 clubs, the league's first dynasty, and they've last made the playoffs in 2019. 2019
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a
playoffs.
There's a 6 or 7 year old kid out there who has never seen that DC United play in a playoff game at all.
Just don't let your dad anywhere near Landon.
Yeah, no, he keeps trying to push the Arsenal stuff on, and I'm like, dude,
oh no,
back it up.
That would be
that's even worse.
What great. Well, I guess Arsenal had a really good history, but like right now,
until my dad started following him, yeah,
right. Like what a horrible fan that would have to fandom that would be to like Arsenal and DC United. Like Arsenal are just they'll always be second.
Yeah.
Third. They're never gonna be first. This is not gonna happen. True. And then, DC United's never gonna be like anywhere near the wild card playoff spot if they keep going in. Which is wild that they're gonna waste Christian Benteke, who could have gone down as one of the top who could still go down as one of the top scoring international strikers that MLS has ever had. But the fact that they've not won with him is just mind blowing to me.
Here's where they've landed since 2020. Okay. 13th in the East, 24th overall. That is 2020. 2021, 8th in the conference, 16th overall. And I think that we were like, okay, they're working on it. They're getting there. 2022, 14th in the conference, 28th overall. I believe that's wooden spoon material. I think that's before the last two teams entered the league, right? Because we have 29 or 30. We have 29 right now.
30.
30?
Mm-hmm.
So that's before Charlotte and that's before
San Diego.
San Diego, right? Something like that. One of these teams. 2023, they finished 12th in the conference, 23rd overall. 2024, 10th in the conference, 21st overall. This year, they're right now 14th in the Eastern Conference. And overall, they are, let me click over to the Supporter Shield standings. Overall, they
28th.
are 28th. So this would be the equivalent of 2022 again. And if you look at this, these positions are very close together. The only outlier is that 2021 with 8th place in the East. That's before they expanded playoffs. So they would have actually, that would have been like, they could qualify for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, they haven't even touched it. Last year, they missed out on a spot. But Logan, out of these seasons of 2020 to 2024, last year, and I guess you can include this year if you want, how many of the seasons did they have a positive goal differential?
I want to go with 0, but I'm assuming it's 1.
It is 1, and it is a +2. And it was 2021, the year that they were close to the playoffs.
Yeah.
2020, -16 goal differential, less than 1 point per game. They gave up 41 goals. 2021, they gave up 54 goals, but they scored 56. So +2. They finished that season with 47 points. 2020, they finished with 21. That was a shortened season. They only played 23 games. 2022, they finished with 27 points and a -35 goal differential, and that's when they gave up the 71 goals. 2023, a -4 goal differential. They gave up only 49 goals, but they could have only scored 45, and they finished with 40 points. That is 1.18 points per game. The next year, same exact points per game, obviously, but a -18 goal differential as they went back to giving up 70 goals in 2024 and only scoring 52. So this year, where they're currently at, is a -29 goal differential, and they've given up 58 goals again, but they've only scored 29, which would be the smallest amount of goals scored since 2020 for DC United. So this is the problem that they're having. Can they actually turn it around? Any team can. I mean, do you really ever expect that we would have seen the Bills be this perennial contenders again? Or, you know, some of these baseball teams that have become perennial contenders again, like before the Astros were a joke, and now they're constantly in there. So things can change for the better. The Union used to be very not great. But now they're perennial contenders. So things can change. But it's just hard to see how they get out of this.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
How have they been since July when their new coach came in? Let me look at the form guide, see if I can get that.
And I'm looking at their worst finishes in franchise history. They're currently at 25 points, which ties them with the 4th worst that they've ever had. So there's only been, they've slotted them in already. So there's only 3 times they've been worse than this. 2010, 2020 shouldn't count because you can throw that out. They had 21, but they only played 23 games. So they probably would have gone over that. So, like, Jordan, there's 2 years where they've been worse. 2013, they finished with 16 points. So they've not, like, this is a really bad year. And you're talking about a team, Jordan, that, like you said, was a dynasty. And 98, 99, they had 58 and 57 points. 2006, 2007, they had 55 points on those seasons. 2012 and 2014, 58 and 59 points. So they go through stretches where they're just a dominant team. Like they're a good team. And then now all the recent years are down here towards the bottom. And it's, gosh, I mean, they'll finish over 20, probably 26, 27, 28 points, but that leaves them in like the like bottom 5 or 6 performances they've ever had as a franchise. So
You're talking about a team that has won 4 MLS Cups, 4
Mhm.
Supporter Shields, 3 Open Cups. They've won the Eastern Conference 6 times. They've won a CONCACAF Champions Cup back when it was known as something else back in the day, 1998. They've won a Copa Interamericana, which was a competition between CONCACAF and CONMEBOL back in 1998. And since then, nothing. Nothing. So one of the best teams with the best trophy cabinets and their struggle. Here's what I found. So their new manager started in July 16th. So that first game for him would have been, let me see, probably okay. So I don't know if he was just announced this day or this is his first game, but Charlotte game that they lost 2-1 was the first one. I don't know if he was on the sideline, but it was the first game of that era of July 16th. Then they had a loss against Columbus 2-1. They lost to Austin 4-2. They lost to New England 2-0. They drew with Montreal. They drew with Miami. They've beat NYCFC. They drew with Orlando, and they lost to Miami. So Logan, in this guy Renee Weiler's his 20-year career, he is now here at DC United. It says he's managed 5 games. I don't know when this was updated, but I would assume it's been more than the 5 games. But 1 win, 3 draws, 1 loss, 7 goals for, 7 goals against. Let me just do my math here on if that would include that game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at least 7 or 8 games actually now, and still only the 1 win. That's the NYCFC win that they have against them. But like I said, they lost. They had a 4-game losing streak when he was announced as manager. Okay, then 2 draws. So what is that? A 6-game winless streak before he had taken, while he had taken over. I mean, this is look. He's given what he's given, I guess. But this is a team that only has like 5 wins to begin with this season. Only one of those have come since he was hired. And they're going to finish up the season with Philly, Charlotte, and Atlanta. Only one of those is winnable. That's the probably the Atlanta game, if I had to guess.
This is still a possibility. Our prediction.
Was that our pick or were your pick?
That was our pick.
We picked it both. Okay.
Yeah. Still a possibility. It's not likely, but it's still a possibility.
For the audio listeners, he showed a wooden spoon. That was our pick for wooden spoon. So we weren't far off if they don't get it. But if they do get it, then we nailed it. Mathematical. What is the
LA Galaxy have 21 points. They have a game in hand.
4-point difference. Okay.
Yeah. So they have a game in hand. So DC, like I said, it's probably the least likely. It's either going to be Montreal or LA. But
I don't know though. If DC out of those 3 games, they may not win another. They may not even get another point.
Montreal too. Montreal's schedule's it's like Philly, Miami. I think it's Philly, Miami, and somebody else. I was like, oh, it's Cincinnati or something. I was like, oh my god.
All right, yeah. So
it's
probably
a gauntlet.
Not happening. Probably not.
Hold on, let me read it. Who is it? Charlotte, Nashville, Cincy. At Charlotte, tough. At Cincinnati. That's brutal. Like that's tough. LA's very likely that they could they'll win against SKC probably. Not probably, maybe. Who knows? LA Galaxy are playing a little bit better, but yeah, these are bad teams. Like these are really, really bad teams, and Atlanta's saved by the fact that these 3 teams are so bad
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because they've
Look,
been brutal.
we'll have to do a whole deep dive in Atlanta maybe in the offseason because this was a team that people picked for MLS Cup. I'm not going to say who picked them,
Hold
but
on, let me show you.
this was a team that
Let me
people
show
picked.
you, viewers.
Yeah, that's yours, right?
No, it says Jordan's name on it. Jordan, they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, no, they've won one of their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. One of their last 14. Atlanta's won.
This
That's
is a team that
insane.
brought in how much did they pay? Like 60 million?
A
30
lot.
million
It was like
per
they were
person for a bit.
franchise signings.
They
Yes.
they were huge league-breaking signings, and everybody was like, "Man, I wish I had ownership like Atlanta." I'm pretty sure I said those words. And
think we
then
all did.
here they are. Here they are. Well,
Yeah, we
let's
can deep dive them
yeah, we'll have
on
to
a
deep
whole
dive
different
them.
episode.
Yeah, we don't have time today, but
No.
that'll be one where it is definitely maybe we try to connect with some Atlanta fans and get them on postseason and say, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Because we were very high on you.
Very high.
Yeah, maybe that was our issue.
Okay.
So then, last thing here, Nashville beat Philly in the Open Cup semis. Austin won their game. It is Nashville and Austin playing for a U.S. Open Cup final, Logan. One of these teams will get their first silverware in club history as an MLS club. I would probably lean Nashville just because of how much better they've been this season. But I always think it's great when the two teams battling it out have never won a trophy before. So what are your thoughts here with Nashville and Austin?
It's at Q2, so I'm going to give Austin the advantage. And they've been better over the last 4 games than Nashville's another team that's really struggled here. Like they're stumbling into the playoffs. 6 of their last 7 are losses. They've won 1 game and that was against Orlando. 5-1. But yeah, I'm going to give Austin the advantage here. I think they finally do it, Jordan. I think they finally get some hardware. And for a team that has been desperate for anything positive to happen, they've got the best goalkeeper in the league, in my opinion, and Brad Stuver. I don't know. I like the way Austin is trending lately, and I think they're a team that you could argue could be a little bit scary to have to deal with if you get them in a playoff series. So we'll see what happens, but I think U.S. Open Cup, I think it stays home with them at Q2, and they send Nashville back home without a trophy.
And they get a spot in the CONCACAF Champions Cup for 2026 if they win. The winner does. And look, top goal scorers in the tournament, Sam Surridge with 5. 3 of those came in the semifinal. And Brandon Vasquez with 4. He has not scored since the quarterfinals, though. But fitting that the 2 top goal scorers both come from these 2 teams that are in the final. So we'll see who gets the last laugh there. That's next Wednesday, October 1st. So hopefully we'll be recording before then, but life gets in the way sometimes. But that is what's going to be happening for the U.S. Open Cup. So let's go ahead and hit up our games that are coming up this week. We have a couple games on Wednesday here. NYCFC in Miami at 7:30, Vancouver and Portland at 10:30. Saturday, we have Toronto and Miami at 4:30, Charlotte and Montreal kick off the 7:30 games. DC and Philly, New England, Atlanta for a battle of the bottom of the East area there. Red Bull New York and NYCFC, a Hudson River derby on Saturday. Then at 8:30, we have Chicago and Columbus, Nashville and Houston, St. Louis, LAFC. Then 9:30, we have Colorado and Minnesota, RSL Austin. There's some 10:30 games, LA Galaxy, SKC, Portland and Dallas, San Diego, San Jose, Battle of the Sands, and Seattle, Vancouver at 10:30 as well. Sunday. Cincinnati and Orlando battle it out at 7:00. Battle of the top few teams of the East here. Cincinnati going to be hoping that DC can somehow beat Philly, so they have a shot at overtaking the Union in the East. But that's what we have coming up for you in the next few weeks. Next Tuesday, when we record, most likely, Miami and Chicago will be kicking off. So that one will already be probably happening or like just finishing up by the time we get an episode out there. So just there you go. Miami will be playing some catch up this week with their schedule, of course. A reason why Vancouver can't do too much of that is because we have next Wednesday the Open Cup final, the Canadian Championship final, and the Campeones Cup, LA Galaxy versus Toluca, the two winners of, winner of MLS Cup last year, winner of Liga MX, battling it out at 10:30. So kind of like three finals going on next Wednesday. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And what is this other Vancouver team? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Vancouver FC.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize their crest. But there we go. So that's what we have to look forward to over the next week plus here of the Stateside Soccer Show and soccer in America here at the top tier. Anything else from you, Logan, that we did not talk about?
I don't think so. I know Christian Pulisic had a game. Was it a game winner that he'd scored? This weekend for Milan. He scored. Timothy Weah also scored. Pulisic had a brace, I believe. So the big guys are scoring for the U.S. men's national team.
He also scored one today as well.
Oh, he played today too. That's right. So dang. So he's on a roll. Nice to see as we start to gear up for what will be starting to come pretty quickly, Jordan. I mean, we'll be talking, when's World Cup draw? Usually December.
It's right? I believe early December.
Yeah, I think so. So we're coming up on that, coming up on playoffs. Like it'll be exciting time. I know U.S. men's national team stuff. We used to look forward to that a ton. I know we'll still hype it up, but it's good to see Christian back on the score sheet and everything seems to be settled there. U.S. men's national team playing in some good friendlies here lately. So beat Japan 2-0 back on the night.
We didn't get the chance to talk about that because we were gonna record and be all doom and gloom, and then we won.
Right.
So that I had to nix that script. But yeah, so
yeah, it was shocking. I'm not gonna lie, because we just lost to South Korea and it was not good.
And Son played well, he's living his best life right now. So that was shocking. So it's kind of like, again, we don't know where we're going as
makes it kind of exciting, Jordan.
Look,
there.
It's exciting when it's not the national team. Mm-hmm. Like if you're like, oh, this is the best supporter shield race ever. It's like, yeah, that's exciting. Look, we don't know if this U.S. team's going up or down. That's not exciting for me. That's probably heartburn-inducing.
This is more depressing than I think dropping out of the
2018.
Like this is just
I don't know.
Prolonged depression.
I think one thing is what really hurt about losing against Trinidad and Tobago is I really thought we were going to win that game and make it to the World Cup anyway. So that was like a dagger when it happened. Mm-hmm. While this has just been this, like, it's kind of like if you had pushed me down a hill and I keep thinking I'm about to reach the bottom, but then I keep rolling.
You just keep going. That's a good
And at
analogy.
times I'm like, just end it. And then it's like, no, we're going to keep on letting you roll down the hill. So we don't know where the bottom is yet. But hopefully we don't find out next summer during the World Cup where the bottom is. I signed up for the Visa presale thing, which means they're gonna do like a draw and see if you get tickets. So hopefully I can get my name picked and be able to get some tickets for any game. I don't care what game. I just want to get a game.
You would have liked this. There was a guy behind us at Horror Nights this weekend, and I was like, "You're really close to each other." This at Universal Studios Orlando, and he goes, "Yeah, the World Cup's coming up," and he goes, the other friend goes, "Oh yeah, that's right. It's every 4 years, isn't it?" He goes, "I can't wait to watch it." And then the other guy goes, "Yeah, I signed up for the pre-sale." He's like, "They actually look pretty reasonable," which they did. And then he goes, my favorite part was like the guy next to him goes, "Yeah, so like, is the U.S. men's national team playing in Orlando for the final?" And the guy goes, "Dude, they're not making the final." I was like,
No.
good. I'm glad at least his friend's there to be like, here's this guy that's, watches every 4 years. And he's like, all right, can't wait to see him.
Can't wait to see us lift the trophy.
Yeah. And then he goes, plus
Me
they would
too.
never host a final in Orlando.
Right. No.
I was like, that's funny.
New Jersey.
Yeah. Right.
New Jersey instead.
Exactly. Come on. It's a much better state than our Florida. So
nowhere to get to those stadiums. Okay. That'll wrap us up. At Stateside Show on all of our social media. Thank you all for watching or listening along. We're in for a great last month here for Major League Soccer as things are picking up. But thank you all for your support. We'll catch you next time when we talk about the weekend action and any other action that may happen or big news that breaks. Who's going to fire their manager next? Is there a person that deserves to get fired? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you then.